So my trading strategy is something that's simple and easy. I'm sure you heard this before, right? You heard that most day trader trading strategies, models, and stuff like that, it's real simple. All you got to do is execute and you good to go. I believe that strategies and models is only 20% of a day trader's process. The other 80% is psychology. I mean, the mindset, the emotions, right? I believe that is the biggest part of day trading. 20% of execution and strategies, and 80% is the mind, right? Psychology. Look, I believe that all trading systems work, whether or not you're using ICT, ICC, supply and demand, support and resistance, and more. It's never been about the system, right? It's always been about the psychology, right? Look, a lot of traders lose, including me sometimes, right? Because of psychology, emotions, right? Because the market brings the emotions out of a trader. You see your setup, sometimes you don't execute it correctly. So when I first started trading, right, I went from strategy to strategy. I mean, I wasn't even giving it a chance. Look, if I had one or two losing trades using a certain strategy, I give up, right? Now, just started using another strategy. And look, after I've blown account after account, watching other experienced traders kill it in the market, right? I mean, they were just winning. I mean, their mindset was great. Their psychology was good. They was executing trades and stuff like that. And I'm steady losing in the market. I kept losing. So I felt that it wasn't about the strategy. It was about my mind. My psychology was bad. So my strategy is nothing new, right? I pick one candle. That's it. One candle every day to trade. Some traders call it the power of three. Some traders call it AMD strategy. I call it the 9 a.m. candle Central Time. So I'm in Central Time, right? So my market opens up at 8:30 a.m. I do not trade the first 30 minutes of the New York session open. I trade at the 9 a.m. candle. So what I do is I wait for my setup and I take the trade. I limit myself to 1 to 3 trades. And if I take 2 back-to-back losses, I am done for the day. I do not trade no more after I take 2 losses back-to-back. Look, you got to remember, the market don't care about this textbook strategy. It's all about executions. So look, again, I trade the 9 a.m. Central candle, right, which is 30 minutes after the New York open. Once the 9 o'clock candle form, I wait. I wait because it's important. Waiting is important. I usually wait about 15 minutes after the 9 o'clock candle is formed. And the reason why is because it's the new 4-hour candle. It has to do a lot of things, right? So what happens? You got consolidation, you have liquidity sweeps, and then you're going to have an expansion. And when you have the expansion, that's when you execute your trade. But you got to go through the consolidation, the fake outs, the liquidity sweeps, and everything else in between before the move happened. And you know what? That's the hardest part about executing the trade, is because you have to wait for the liquidity sweeps. You got to wait for the fake outs. You got to wait for all kinds of different things before you can even execute your trade. And that's the hardest part, because it messes with your psychology. And you know, that's what I'll be looking for. I'm looking for the wick at the top or wick at the bottom. And when the 9 o'clock candle start forming, start expanding, then I execute the trade. And then my take profit is going to be probably at the bottom, usually at a zone and stuff like that. So it's kind of more of a breakout, right? If you have a consolidation, you're pretty much waiting on a breakout. And when you get the breakout, you're waiting on the next candle to do the retest. Then you execute the trade, which I'm going to show you all of that in this video. Okay, so here it is. This is my 9 a.m. strategy, a strategy that I've been using a long time. It's very simple to use, but very difficult to execute, because this is a new 4-hour candle. I do not trade the New York open. So what I do is I wait. It's all about patience. It's all about waiting to execute your trade. So this is the 1 hour candle here. This is going to be the 8 a.m. candle. all right, which is 8:30, the New York session open. So usually between 8 and 8:30, the market usually doesn't move. So about 8:30, that's when the market really starts moving. So you got your 1 hour candle here, which I don't touch. So what I do is I wait for the 9 a.m. candle. And what I'm looking for, if it's a reversal, I'm looking for either Asia highs or London highs for a reversal, or maybe the daily high to execute a trade on a reversal. So it would look something like this. Bam, you have your zone at the top. And this is going to be a 15-minute breakdown. So you got your zone at the top, and then you're looking for that wick. It looked like it was going to break the zone, but it retraced almost the whole candle. So basically what I'm looking for is the next candle coming in, which is a 15-minute. So at about 9:15, a little after 9:15, I'm looking to execute a trade if possible. Sometimes it consolidates for 20 minutes. Sometimes it consolidates for 30 minutes. So it's basically a wait and see game at this point. So this is a textbook play, right? That the market open, you got your 15-minute going to your zone, then it comes down, and then the next 15-minute comes down. So what I usually look for is to execute the trade usually in this area right here. Okay, so I usually, right in this area right here, I try my best to execute my trade. Now, once I execute my trade, I try to ride it all the way down to my take profit down here, maybe to a zone. But I usually be careful at the end of the previous candle. So usually if it start hesitating and stuff like that, I usually kind of take my TP around in this area right here. And the reason why is because if you know New York session, if you know NQ, if you know the NASDAQ, you know the textbook play don't always play out. So you have to be on your A game. And when the market start doing some reversing and some pullbacks and maybe a possible huge pullback, you just got to get out the trade. Take what you see. You know, you executed your trade, and if it don't go to the zone, you go on and take profits at that point. Usually what I do is if I do have a reversal and about time to get to maybe right in the middle of the previous candle, I usually put my stop loss in profit so I won't have a loss. That's textbook, right? So usually if I execute the trade in this area and about time the market get to about right here, I always put my stop loss right in break even at this point. Okay, and then I'll trail my stop loss as the market tend to go down. So I trail my stop loss, and if the market start retracing, it may hit my stop loss. Bam, I'm good. I'm done for the day. Now, this next candle here, this is going to be the 8 o'clock 1 hour candle. And if you executing it on the higher time frames, if you don't want to look at the smaller time frames, which we do a lot, we will look at the higher time frame, and this is going to be a 1 hour execution. And again, the same thing applies, right? If the market start coming down, I execute my trade round in this area. My take profit will be down here, but I'll be trailing my stop loss into profit as the market go down. And if the market start retracing, it stops me out. I'm good for the day. All right, so that's going to be a reversal. Now, if we have a 9 o'clock continuation, what I usually look for is the market to come down, right? And sometimes it fakes you out. Sometimes you do not get a wick to go up. Sometimes the market may come in and go straight down. Now that'll be a retracement of the previous hourly candle. So what I look for is the first 15-minute candle go down, and then once it comes down and it start retracing that candle, I try to get my entry usually right in this area right here to go up to take profit. If I take profit, to be at the next zone. And as the market goes up, I'll be trailing my stop loss until it get hit or it hit take profit out in the top of the zone, whether or not it's going to be Asia highs or London highs. So basically that's how I execute that trade on a continuation play going up. Now this is going to be the 1 hour going against the 1 hour. And again, when you look at the 1 hour play, and I'm going to show you this on a live market, again, 8 o'clock candle go up. You have your 9 o'clock candle come down, retrace, and come all the way up. And this usually be a wick right here. So you see the market going up. I execute my trade about right in this area. Then I ride it all the way up to TP. Now, yes, along the way, this candle will go up and down and up and down. But if usually once you get a nice good entry in this area right here, it does a very good job. Now, you know, it right here going all the way to the top right there is a really good play. Now you have to understand, right? My execution in my trades is getting a piece of the market. I'm not going for, you know, home runs. I'm just going for base hits. I just want to get a little piece of the pie. I'm not going for the extravagant type of profit taking, because we, you know, we copy trade. And so it's no big deal about getting that big old grand slam when it comes down to profits. We just need a little piece of the market. That's all we need to have a success, to be successful at this. But that's my strategy. That is my strategy. Now, as far as stop loss, just say, for instance, I get in the market right here. Okay. This would be my execution into the trade. My stop loss would be right here at the close to the tip of the wick. Right here, maybe by the tip of the wick, buying a chance the market come do some crazy stuff and go way up right there and come back down. Sometimes the market does that. So I have my stop loss about right here. And as I execute the trade right here, give it enough breathing room for the stupidness that happens in NASDAQ. You'll have it coming down, then all of a sudden it'll go up and then it'll come back down. So you have to be prepared for that spike. Sometimes you do get a spike, but if you got the stop loss in this area right here, you should be good to go. Okay. All right. So that's going to be my strategy. Okay. So here it is, right? This is going to be the live market. And I executed some of these trades in real time. If you guys watch our videos, I do the recap videos, and also we start the live stream. So check out our live streams and the recap videos that you can see me enter these trades live. All right, so here it is, right? And this is going to be for Friday market right here. And we executed this trade, and it was a beauty. So here we got the 8 o'clock candle right here. Okay, this is going to be the 8 o'clock candle. As you could tell, the 9 o'clock candle went wick right above the 8 o'clock candle. Okay, I executed my trade a little late today, but a textbook, I would execute the trade right here, and I got my Fibonacci on here. So I would usually execute my trade right about the 23.6. Again, I did trade this. We had some issues, and I got in the trade just a little tab late today, but I did execute this trade all the way down. But yes, so looking at this trade, right, I got in right around here. This is usually where I would get in right here. And then I'll ride this bad boy to the zone, which in this today, we had the daily high right here. So I will execute this trade all the way down to the daily high. Okay. And that'll be it. Or I will execute this trade to be about take profit, usually at around the 78.6. But since we was right here at the daily high, I feel like this is going to be a resistance line. So I didn't want to take my trade below that, even though today's market did go below that. As you can see, the wick all the way down and the wick all the way up. I executed the trade, and I kind of got a little bit here, and I was done for the day. But let's go back and back test some of this, and I'm going to show you guys how powerful the 9 o'clock candle is. So this is going to be the previous day. I did execute this trade also. Yeah, so as you can see, this is going to be the 8 o'clock candle. And when the 8 o'clock candle was done, the 9 o'clock candle came in, it came down a little bit. And as you could tell, it goes up. Listen, the 9 o'clock candle is probably going to be the most powerful candle in the New York session. As you can see, it's the biggest candle in the New York session. But yeah, so if you look at the 9 a.m. Central Time candle, it's one of the most powerful candles in the session. If you feel that you do not want to trade the New York session, and when it comes down to the opening session, you can wait for the 9 a.m. candle, wait about 15-20 minutes, execute your trade using using the model that I use, and it works a lot. It works great. Maybe about 65 to 70% win rate. And the reason why is because sometimes you don't win them all. Sometimes the execution and the psychology kicks in, and sometimes you get a bad feel or you get a wrong execution. So it's about a 65 to 70% win rate on the 9 o'clock candle using this method. Okay, so the market moves in 3 ways: up, down, sideways, right? And getting in the trade is easy. The hardest part of the trade is knowing which direction that the market is going. Even if you're going from zone to zone, sometimes the market acts crazy. As you know, the market has been going to all-time highs. So as we try to trade in all-time highs, we don't know where to take profit at because we can't see above all-time highs. So at this point, you have to be very patient in these trades. Trading all-time highs is a very difficult thing to do. You have to get your mind in the game. But I always like to execute in higher time frames, whether or not it's going to be in the 1 hour, the 15-minute, and I do go to the 5-minute or the 1 minute to draw my box. As if you've been watching my channel, you guys will see that we do draw a box for the consolidation. So as we see the breakout, then we use it into the trades. So, check it out. It's always good, right? Look, think about this, right? The hardest part about trading is not about the market. It's us. The market don't know you, right? The market don't care about your bills. The market doesn't care about nothing about you. Look, this is a place where you risk money to make money. And if you lose money, you lose money. There's no customer service number you can call. There's no place where you can place a complaint. It's nothing. The market doesn't care. All you have is your strategy and your psychology. You have to work them together and in tandem. You have to work it together. Look, I had to figure this out the hard way, right? Losing money, blowing accounts. It was very frustrating to learn a strategy that works for me. And listen, my whole strategy is this. I try to work my strategy by making one trade. And a lot of times I only do one trade a day. I do not go in this market and be on the chart for 7 hours a day, 4 hours a day, trying to go from side to side and trying to see if I can get execution after my 9 o'clock candle. What I do if I'm in a trade and it's 10 minutes to 10, 5 minutes to 10, I'm looking to exit the trade at that point because I already know that when the 10 o'clock candle comes in, it's going to do a pullback or maybe a reversal because it may be already at the zone. So at that point, I'm looking to exit the trade. Either way, I'm going to exit the trade after 9 o'clock. Right? Because I already know I've been queued up in this market too many times to not know that when the next candle come in, the next hourly candle come in, it has to come down the farmer's wick. It has to do the same process: consolidation, manipulation, execution, expansion, right? So my whole thought process is that I want a piece of the pie. That's all. I just want a little piece. So my executions are small, because I copy trade across multiple accounts. So I'm not looking for the home runs. I'm not looking for big numbers. All I'm looking for is a piece of the pie because I'm already copy trading across multiple accounts. So it doesn't matter. All my thought process in the trading is to execute the play. That's it. Execute the play. Every strategy works. Whether or not you're doing ICT, ICC, supply and demand, support, resistance, it doesn't matter what strategy you have. If it works, right? You just have to execute it. 80% is psychology. If you can get your mind right, that's the hardest thing about trading is the mind. If you get that part right, everything else will fall in place. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. This is Eric. See you guys on the next video. Peace.